I would like to invite Carl Linnick back for the second half, and I know he does have to leave. He has a little one at home, and he's been with us for all this time, to say a few words about the late Anzor Erkomaishvili. Carl?
So I think many of you may have met Anzor, and certainly if you did not meet him, then you know about him. Sorry, gotta fix my chair here. Chair is falling down on me. Anzor was the founder and director of the Rustavi choir, and I first met him, I believe in 1991, when he came here to the United States, 91 or 92. He came here with the Rustavi choir and the Kartuli Ensemble. I was part of that group. We hosted them, the choir and Anzor. And that was when I first met him. Of course, at the time I spoke no Georgian and Anzor did not speak any English. So it was not until years later in 1995 when I first went to Georgia with my trio partners, Alan and Stuart, that we met Anzor and really got to know him at his insistence. He sort of commanded that we come to his home every week, and he wanted to teach us Georgian songs, so songs from the province that he came from, and we did that for the entire about 5 months that we were there visiting. Almost every week we went to Anzor's home, and he taught us some of the songs that he learned when he was growing up. So this is just one example of how generous he was. And over the years, as I mentioned, I lived in Georgia for about 10 years. During that time, I worked quite closely with Anzor. We realized many projects together through the center that he established. I really miss him. I was hit very hard by his death. It's still difficult for me to speak about it. I'm sorry. He was really a beautiful man. And so I know that he would be very happy to see how many of us are here and how many people are devoting their hearts and their lives and so much time to learning, to performing, to continuing the tradition of Georgian folk singing. It's really, I think, a testament to his excellent work in promoting and preserving Georgian culture that all of us are here. And so it was Iberia's suggestion that we dedicate this Zoom meeting to his memory. And I think that's really a beautiful thing. So yeah, Anzor, he's watching, he's listening from somewhere, and yeah, he's still with us. Thank you. So I'm going to stick around while I can here, but I may have to leave at some point again because I have a baby daughter. Incidentally, my daughter, she's 15 months now, and she's born here in the States. But I'm speaking only Georgian to her, so she'll be singing with us in a little while.
Thank you, Carl. That's so sweet, and thank you for those beautiful words about Anzor. I personally didn't really get to know him with much breadth, but I know the work that I've done through singing is greatly influenced by him. So I want to learn more, of course, and. The legacy he has left behind is in strong hands, of course, in Georgia, but also outside of Georgia, as we can see. Thank you again for the kind words. So let's begin with our first group of the second session, which will be Yale Slavic Chorus, which actually has connections to the Yale Russian Chorus and Alumni. And I'd like to invite Maya to speak.
Maya had to head out, so I will be speaking on her behalf. Okay. Yeah, right. No worries.
Yes, welcome, Claire.
Thank you. My name is Claire St. Amor. I'm a member of the Yale Slavic Chorus. As Izumi mentioned, we have long-standing ties to the Yale Russian Chorus. We were founded in 1969, the first year of coeducation in Yale College. And we were not primarily founded as an undergraduate group. It began directed by a member of the Russian chorus, and sort of came out of a folk music and dance scene surrounding Yale at the time. But we've evolved to be a sort of mostly undergraduate soprano and alto choir. Like many of you, we started out singing kind of in the Bulgarian folk tradition. A lot of the early repertoire was kind of transcribed from Philip Kutev records, which is, I think, probably a familiar process to some of you guys. And we've expanded since then. We now sing music from all over Eastern Europe and the Balkans. And in recent decades, have been bringing in some repertoire from the Republic of Georgia through people like Carl and also through some international tours to Georgia. We perform sort of 5 or 6 regularly scheduled concerts per year, plus an annual spring tour in the States. If you're interested in having us come to your city and sing with you, definitely hit us up. We're looking for a tour location for the coming spring. And occasionally, every couple of years, an international tour to somewhere in Eastern Europe so that we can learn more repertoire. I'm trying to think of what else we can say. Yeah, again, we're primarily undergraduates. We were hit pretty hard with COVID. There wasn't, on top of everyone's schoolwork, there wasn't a way for us to practice. So we lost a year of recruiting and practice, but Josephine and Maya and I are looking forward to sort of getting the choir back on its feet this coming fall. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for letting me know, Jen. Yeah, we're very lucky. Our alums are sort of scattered around the United States and around the world. But yeah, we're always excited to learn new repertoire and get to know other people in this fantastic international community. We love singing Georgian music. I'm gonna drop into the chat just a couple of YouTube links from our most recent concert, which was a year and a half ago. One is a large group and one is a small group. Both of them are Georgian. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you for sharing your story. It's nice to hear about students too, involved in Georgian singing. I guess you can begin at any time, as early as a baby, like Carl's 15-month-old. She'll be singing, I'm sure, before long. All right, thank you. Next up, we have Georgian Art House online workshop choir. So I guess this was based in the pandemic times, perhaps. And we have Sinem Avcı. I'd like to welcome her. Sinem?
Hello, everyone. We are the Georgian Art House online workshop choir, participating from Turkey. My name is Sinem Avcı. I'm Turkish. I'm not of Georgian origin, but I'm interested in Georgian music. And I represent our choir. We are mostly Turks. Our choir master is Melashvili, and our consists of 15 people. For the first time this year, the choir works were done online. I'm exciting, sorry. Yes, continue. The choir center is in Istanbul. We are not together for a professional purpose. Our aim is to live and learn Georgian polyphonic music. Our work is as follows. 1. We practice in terms of pronunciation studies of the Georgian language. 2. We learn melodies from the note and study. 3. We create sound recordings about the song and send it to our chief. Lastly, he combined these sound recordings to create the song. Sometimes we can also prepare presentations about Georgian culture and polyphonic music in our Zoom meetings. It is important to preserve this rich culture. Thanks to organizers of this organization and all participants. I hope the pandemic process ends and one day we can work together. Finally, I would like to share with you 2 Georgian folk songs prepared by our choir. Have a nice watch. Goodbye. Ses geliyor mu acaba?
Ses de yok, görüntü de yok. Şey var, window.
Okay. Tekrar edeceğim. Şöyle yapalım.
Select sound yapmak lazım galiba.
Evet,
Heh,
tekrar
tamam.
deniyorum. Açtım. Şimdi nasıl? I share a second song.
Sesi biraz açar mısın lütfen? Az geldi de.
Tamam.
Teşekkürler.
Shit bichia chachatuli nai nai ni nai nada shit bichia chachatuli nai nai ni nai nada esakwani bjoli sao nai nai ni nai nada esakwani bjoli sao nai nai ni nai nada shitam soli broli sao nai nai ni nai nada shitam soli broli sao nai nai ni nai nada es akwani e banozi nai nai ni nai nada es akwani e banozi nai nai ni nai nada shitam soli angelozi nai nai ni nai nada shitam soli angelozi nai nai ni nai nada es akwani tkhili sao nai nai ni nai nada es akwani sao nai nai ni nai nada shitam soli khini sao nai nai ni nai nada shitam soli khini sao nai nai ni nai nada nani dana ni dana o nai nai ni nai nada nani dana ni dana o.
Thank you, Sinem. That was wonderful. Thanks for sharing. That's a very interesting concept to have an online workshop choir. We have one more coming up, but the visuals are really interesting. It's like the Zoom meeting, actually. I see everybody in the same screen. Video production takes a while, so editing takes a while. This actually requires a lot of work, but it's beautifully done. Thank you. Next up, we go over to the US, and we have Niavi Ensemble from DC with D. D?
Yeah, hi everybody.
Hi.
It's really nice to be here. Thank you so much to the organizers. Izumi, thank you so much for being our host. Um, so Nyavi is we sing all Georgian repertoire. We're located in the Washington, D.C. area. We've been singing together since about 2009, and we do both folk and liturgical music from Georgia, and we do exclusively Georgian music. Um, I wanted to say this gathering, it's a wonderful thing to have everybody coming together. It also, for me personally, is bringing together all these amazing strands from my whole life. Because I have the honor of having been one of the early classes of the Yale Slavic Chorus. I sang in the fourth year of Yale Slavic Chorus's existence through its eighth year. I have a history with the founding of the group Slavea, who will be presenting a little bit later. And I was so lucky to live in Georgia for 4 years and sing with Karl Linick's group there, which was a gathering of it was called Okrostum Rebi, which means golden guests. And Karl kept a group of expats who lived there alive and happy and vital through his amazing leadership over many years. So I was very lucky to be a part of that group for 4 years when I lived in Georgia. When I came back to the Washington, D.C. area after living in Georgia, I couldn't live without singing Georgian music any longer. I had been a longtime Balkan music singer, but I was already a dedicated only Georgian for the future of my singing career devotee. So Karl helped me find some founding members, and I found some founding members through my own network. I came back in late 2007, and we got going in early 2009. We're currently about 10 regular members, two of whom, and sort of 2.5 of whom are Georgian, and the rest of us, all of us have either lived in Georgia for extended or shorter periods of time, were born in Georgia, and or have traveled either on Karl's tours or on other tours to Georgia to learn to sing. So Washington being the kind of a city that it is, we've had a very itinerant kind of a membership. So it's changed a lot over the years. When people come and go from Washington a lot. And I want to currently give an invitation to everybody. Whenever you come and go from Washington, please contact us, because we have open rehearsals for folks who like to sing Georgian music. Every rehearsal is a mini supra, and we've got a professional chef among our membership. So it's pretty nice. And we always have Georgian wine around the table when we sing. And it's in my home, and I welcome you to my Darbazi. So I would say, let's see, we've done a lot across our members. We've done a lot of singing with and studying with many of the songmasters in Georgia. I won't go through the list, and many of the new groups, and that's always an incredible source of inspiration for us. But let's see, during the pandemic, we tried to meet. We did Zoom meetings every other week, but we had the technical problems, and we couldn't make Jam Kazam work, because not everybody had a fast enough connection and things like that. So during the second half of the lockdown or the pandemic, we started we also had varying levels of comfort about getting together. So we had people who were comfortable with doing some singing outdoors with masks, standing 10 feet apart or 12 feet apart. And that was helpful in some way, but it wasn't. Of course, it wasn't the same. We did participate in the wonderful festival that was put together last year for the Polyphony Symposium. I'm going to put into the chat the link of the video that we put together. It's not a professionally done video, but it gives a sense of who we are. And hold on, let me put it in right now. There it is. So we sort of tried to keep the spirits up, and we are going to be having our first full rehearsal and gathering tomorrow on my deck. So that's going to be a homecoming for us, and it's very exciting. We only ever, like before COVID, we would perform a couple of times a year. But we're not I would say as an ensemble, we're not focused primarily on performance. We have a good relationship with the Georgian Embassy in Washington, and we performed in the Chveneburabi Festival when it came here to Washington. But our group is a family. It's a second family, and it's so wonderful to be part of this larger and growing family. So I guess that's pretty much the synopsis of Nyavi. I will just say that the song that we have, that I've just given you the link to, was taught to us by Malcha Zarkvanidze, and it was during a tour that he and Geabo were making, and they stopped in Washington. On the tour, they gave us a master class in my living room, and they had to leave town to get ahead of Hurricane Sandy as it was heading up the coast of the United States. So he had taught us this wonderful Supruli, and as he was leaving, we said, "So Malchaz, what's the name of this song?" And he thought for a minute and got this kind of impish look on his face and said, "We call it Borjghali, which means hurricane." So, and I would say it's also, I want to say one other word of thanks to Carl for helping us find our name, Niavi, which means, in Georgian, it means breeze. So the breeze then became a hurricane. So thank you.
Thank you, Dee. Wow, your whole life is interwoven with Georgian culture, song especially. Thank you for sharing your story. And I go to Washington, D.C. every now and then. I will definitely contact you. I've had the pleasure of joining some of Carl's rehearsals too whenever I go to New York. It's not often, but it's wonderful.
Modi Chventa.
Didi Madlova. Thank you. All right, great. Now we are going to go over to Canada, where we have Orishava and GAbo's trio with Andrea. Is Andrea here?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you so much. And first I want to say I'm sorry I missed the first half. I'm really sorry. I missed hearing so much information. I hope the video is going to be shared afterwards.
Yes, it will be.
Reason why is because I just got my second Pfizer vaccine and I'm like pooped. I was in bed all day yesterday. And I'm going to try to be succinct here, but please bear with me. I still have a low-grade fever. So I also want to thank you so much for doing this. This is an incredible collection of people and singers of this music. What an amazing event. I just wish I wasn't so whooped out of it and I could really, really take it in. So I, again, hope that video is going to be available. So I'm actually wanting to talk to you about, I guess, mostly my family. Orishava and company is what we sort of call ourselves. But mostly in short, it's Orishava. But we do stem from, I mean, originally I was in Darbazi way back. And then, you know, from that came Zari, which I should mention is actually not exactly active, but we were actually going to be doing a festival in Newfoundland in 2020, in the summer of 2020. But of course that all got canceled. So these things are still happening. These Zari is still happening, and Orishava is basically, I mean, it's a more recent iteration, I guess, of our family in terms of the name that we gave it. It's within the past year we gave it. We just got an Instagram account for it, like about 3 weeks ago. But we've been as a family, we've always been busy singing, and the kids have been singing. Like Carl's kids, little kid, just came out singing, it seems. So before we knew it, they were singing with us. And I think our first stage performance was once with Darbazi, where our son sang Maspindzeli, the Maspindzeli Gurian song, with my husband and I. Yeah, they just love the music. One's 19 now and the other's 13, and they still love the music. So basically, what I want to say is that we're not really a professional. We're not professional in the sense that we haven't produced anything professionally. So we have not. The Instagram account is the newest thing. Basically, we've been running under the umbrella of Music Camp as well. GAbo's trio was the same thing. People who don't know what GAbo's trio was, this was basically a trio that was put together, kind of a last minute thing because Mario Morello is an ethnomusicologist, and I were going to present at the conference in Georgia, which happens every 2 years on polyphony. And GAbo was going to come just to visit his grandparents. So GAbo's trio we weren't even named GAbo's trio to begin with. We were just singing a few Ukrainian songs and then mostly Georgian songs. And then we were invited to the house of a great singer for their winter harvest or their fall harvest event, and that's when they called it GAbo's trio. Actually posted a video of us, and I was like, that's what it's called. In terms of us being active in the community and being performance and I guess it's been mostly education. We've been teaching a lot as a family. So Bachi and I mostly have been teaching through Music Camp. Before we taught, Music Camp is my home studio, and I can just share my screen here. Let's see this one. Yeah. So this is, if you can you see that then? This is our Georgian polyphonic singing workshop on Facebook, workshop with Shalva and Andrea. So yeah, you can hear, this is, anyway, so I'll keep that going in the background. Can you still hear me okay? So
Yes.
That's our home studio. It's very small, and we would run workshops maybe 2 or 3 times a year, mostly fall, winter, spring sort of thing. And we'd get all sorts of people joining us. And mostly really good singers. Sometimes we got professional singers, sometimes we got professional composers. Anyways, so as you can see, it's quite a good vibe, and we always have some wine there as well. Speaking of Nyavi's ensemble, sort of, we don't have Georgian wine always, but some wine. So we've been doing that, and then because of the pandemic, it suddenly got transferred. It wasn't quite sudden. It took us a while to transfer it online, but we were in mid on a workshop when we went to online, and so luckily we had a very nice group who were committed to coming online and working with us and seeing if we could make it work. And we basically do it through Zoom. So we've been doing workshops. Well, here's Orishava. Let me see. No, that's not what I wanted to say. Oh, I forgot to mention that we also do dance. We were doing dance workshops usually once a year as well, usually based around a song that we'd learned in the workshop as well. So those were fun. So that was just me and Bachi. The kids weren't involved in that at all. But when the pandemic came, that's when the kids got really, really involved. Especially the older one, where he was basically, we had to have 3 voices to lead the workshops. So you can see here, oh no, that's GAbo's trio. Sorry. You can see here more information about it. You can just go to musiccampto.com, and it's really clear where you can go to find out more information about that. But I do have some, here's like a more recent time and sometimes we get couples joining us, here's another video or picture, and here's a video just to give you a sense.
Okay, it's kind of a chachlartuli in Georgian language, which they use in Guria, is this. Like that's chachlartuli means. Yeah, one more. Now I can add something too in the middle part. One more time. So I started with her instead of waiting.
Right. So and we break down the parts quite clearly. We give enough room for people to we seem to repeat it enough, I believe, so that people can join in. and that's really, it's through those workshops that we became, a lot more of a trio, or as a group, I guess, with our older son. I mean, he loves to sing, and he can. The point is that we don't really rehearse, actually. We just do these singing, and then we've been asked to do so many gigs, and then we get together and rehearse. And we all love to sing, and we all wish we could rehearse more, but it just doesn't happen. There's a lot of interesting dynamic in a family ensemble that you probably don't know about.
Andrea,
But
thank you so
anyway, so
much.
we've been, since the pandemic, we've been asked to perform with the Canadian Folk Alliance Council for a couple of gigs, or this Urgent.ca, which has been a collaboration of mostly Eastern European music, and they've actually asked, they're a group that organizes Eastern European music and world music stuff, and they've now asked us for our first in-person patio gig. Yay!
That's
Which should happen in
wonderful.
the next month. That's pretty exciting for us. But
Andrea, sorry
and for
to
the Sing
interrupt.
Festival and Labyrinth,
Can you hear me?
which is a modal music
Oh,
group. So all these places have somehow found us, which has been really wonderful. And the pandemic has sort of made the world smaller for us in that way, that we didn't have to, because none of us like to do that production stuff. Actually, no one will do it except me. So I don't like doing it. So getting our name out,
Andrea?
it's been kind of nice that that's happened.
Andrea, can you hear me?
Yeah, and
Can
I should
anybody
say
hear
that
me?
plain paper theater has also been really important for us in terms
I'm
of
not sure if I can be heard.
helping
Sorry.
us out. Because before, when I say we're called Orishava and Company, sometimes we hire extra singers. And it used to be just under the umbrella of Music Camp that a group would ask us to sing. And so we'd get some singers from our ensemble to join us. And then what happened became Orishava. And so, like, for instance, just before the pandemic, in end of October, we did a gig where we hired a couple of other singers, and we really put on this really interesting show that went into like soundscapes, into Georgian music, and back into soundscapes and Georgian music for it was a night
Andrea?
event.
Andrea, can you hear me?
Sort of Halloween event. Anyways, I don't think I can really say any more, except I'm really grateful again for being here, and it's so nice to see so many people here.
Thank you. I'm wondering if anyone can hear me.
Somehow I can't hear you. Wait, what is
Okay.
going on?
But I don't know. Okay.
I need to stop sharing. Wait.
Oh, maybe that's why. I'm not sure.
Why can't I hear you?
Is it the true for everybody? Can anybody hear me?
I'm so sorry.
Okay, I think everyone except you. I don't know the reason why.
Oh, I wanted to say one other thing. Sorry, can I?
Very quickly, because we have to move on.
Yes. Well, the one other thing was that we were recently asked to perform by the Folklore Center of Georgia, the State Folklore Center of Georgia, and that's been really, really, important for us to be recognized as such.
Andrea, could you please share that in the chat? We are over time. I'm so sorry.
No, I just wanted to show it. I won't play it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll share.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. And you're such a trooper, Andrea, having gone through the vaccination and not feeling quite, 100%. You have a fever, but you still joined us. So thank you for that. And thank you for sharing the story of your Georgian Canadian household. You guys are amazing. This is a a family. All of them sing, and they also play instruments. And I attended some of their workshops during the pandemic. It was really, really fun. And for me, a way to connect to singing, which I was sort of moving away from due to health reasons, but a music camp gave me an opportunity to feel connected again. So thank you. All right. Yes, please share any links you have in the chat, and we can all check it out later. Next up, we have a group from Turkey, and I feel like this one is a special one because it kind of stands out. This group is called Rirashi, and they're from İnegöl, Bursa. And with that, I'd like to introduce Barış Akser. Barış? Hello, welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'm the speaker of Al-Samri Rashi. First of all, we consist of people who have Georgian immigrant backgrounds. Our ancestors came to Turkey about 150 years ago. The Rirashi's distinctive character is that we have many young people from different villages. We are not professionals. Music and dance is not our first profession. Everyone has their own other professions. So it's just a hobby for us. And we would like to transfer our ancestors' folk music from generations to generations. And in Rirashi's repertoire, we have Harira village choirs music and other villages folk musics and dances from other villages. And we have never had any intention of making an album or something. As I said before, it's just a hobby, and we would like to carry our music and culture to other generations, because we live in Turkey and we still try to make our culture alive. We would like to preserve our national heritage to other generations. And I'm sorry, I'm really excited to be here. We also aim to sing and play today's Georgia's music too. Rirashi has been ready to get on stage since 2018, but because of the pandemic situation, we couldn't gather too much. But after that situation, we hope to carry on and improve our group and make other musics or dances. We also have a YouTube channel named Rirashi. You can watch videos. I can share also screen from YouTube. We also have a Facebook group. We would be grateful if you can follow us. I don't know how to do it, but I will try to share screen.
Natia yardımcı olur musun?
I hope that works.
Ses açık değil galiba.
I guess you can't hear me now.
Yes, I'm not hearing anything. Can you share it in or try again or share it in the chat if it doesn't work?
Okay, I'm trying.
Mm-hmm. I think you need to select share sound before you play.
Okay. I'm really sorry, I couldn't find it.
Please put it in the chat. Copy the link and paste it into chat, please. Or, yeah, let's see if this works.
Is it okay now?
I can see, but I can't hear. The sound, is it on? No sound. No sound.
Okay. But can you see the video?
Yes, it's not moving. It's like a picture.
I'll play it again. Can you hear the sound?
No.
Okay, I'll send the link. If you are interested, you can watch it from the link.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I guess it's sent.
All right. So we will check that afterwards. Thank you. So
Thank
we
you.
had Barış, and what is your name?
I'm İrem.
Iram. That
I'm
was
his
Iram and Barış from Rirashi Ensemble. One thing I'd like to add to that is that a lot of you have heard of Peter Gold. He actually was in Hayriyeköy, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
recording these old songs from the immigrants, and he did this great act of preservation. So you actually also went to those recordings to bring them to life, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's pretty remarkable. They are carrying on the songs from the past into the future.
Yes, it was really a good experience for all of us.
Yes, and didn't you have a festival commemorating 50th year or something like that in İnegöl?
I'm just their translator. My
Okay.
brother is interested. I'm actually not the member of the group.
Okay, you're assisting. Okay, I believe that's the case. They had a big celebration of 50th anniversary of the recordings in Hayriyeköy. So they're directly related to this whole thing and carrying on the passing on the songs to the next generation so they don't get lost. Okay, thank you very much, Rirashi. Next, we have the group Derby Georgian Choir from the UK. Thank you, goodbye. With Derby Georgian Choir with Norman Smith. Norman?
Yeah. Okay, I'm here. Just unmuted. Yeah. So I'm representing Derby Georgian Choir, set up in 2008 by Beth, who was a leader of a big community choir in Derby, and she had a real interest in Georgian music. The members are a mix of male and female singers, and we're not a performing choir. We just sing for the joy and the love of hearing those wonderful harmonies. Beth moved away about 6 years ago, and the group of people in the choir, there's about 10 or 12 of us, decided to carry on singing together, even though we didn't have a leader. We still don't have a leader. We've just carried on trying to sing songs we know and support each other in learning new songs. We've learnt songs from different sources, from books, from groups and individuals. We had Carl come to Derby about 3 years ago. We've linked with Jen in Seattle. She's helped me learn the parts to some songs. And we've also, previously to that, we had some groups visiting from Georgia came to Derby as part of a UK tour. So that's been really helpful. The other way we've learnt songs and shared them is my wife and I were lucky enough to go to Georgia a few years ago and stayed in a tiny village, Lakushti in Sveneti, and learnt songs there from the Chamgeliani sisters and other local residents in the village, which was just an incredible experience. And I know a lot of you have been to Georgia and you know how wonderful that is. So we're struggling on. We haven't been singing at all during the pandemic, and we all really miss that. We're hoping to try something in the open air, probably in maybe a couple of months' time, and then hopefully in the autumn get back together and sing again. The question about why we love Georgian music, well, it's a very personal thing, so I can only answer for myself. For me, it's that very special thing about the harmonies, the point where it sends the shivers down your spine and you hear that sound and it's just absolutely beautiful. And I think as well, personally for me, one of the key things is enjoying the challenge of trying to learn some Georgian language and sing in Georgian and get it as near as right as we can. And that's a real struggle, but it's something we do enjoy. And I think it's good that within the core group we've carried on meeting and we've carried on despite being leaderless, but supporting each other. It's a real community effort, all working together. So that's us, Derby Georgian Choir.
Thank you so much, Norman. That was wonderful. Yes, we all are struggling to sing. We find ways to do it, or sometimes the songs kind of lead us in the direction that has to go. You know, it has to go. I forgot to mention that I think a member of Maspindzeli gave up her first rehearsal in a long time to be with us. I forgot to mention that. I think that was the case. So if they're still here, I want to thank them again. And then Dee, you're having your first rehearsal tomorrow. So we are slowly starting to get together as things relax a little bit and it's supposedly safer. So yes, this is evolving. We're coming out of it. Next, I would like to introduce, well, I'm really excited, Seattle Zone 145. My good friend Jen Morris will appear for the second time. This is her choir, and I was part of it for a number of years. I played doli and I played some other instruments, and I also sang. So Jen,
Hello,
welcome.
everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Jen Morris, director of 145 here in Seattle. Not from that other group, the Balkan one. So yeah, it's so nice to see all of your faces, and many of you I've met before, either in your home countries or you've come to visit here. And there's many of you I have not met, and I would love to meet you and sing with you. So yes, thank you, Izumi and Iberia, for putting this together and allowing us to see each other and hear each other's stories. That's really wonderful. I'll try to give you the speed run through. So basically, 145 officially started in 2010. Many of us went to a village harmony workshop with Frank Kane in 2008. That is where I got bitten by the Georgian bug, or I have one singer who loves to talk about how she saw me fall off into the deep end, and she says, I was there, I saw it happen. And that, yes, that is part of our origin story. I fell in love with Georgian music, when a week before that I didn't know Georgia was a country. I didn't know, but something that's a similar story for many of you. You feel this resonance. There's something that resonates deep within you, and you say, I have to sing this music. And I sort of got put in this, well, the position I found myself in was, if I wanted to sing more of this music, I guess I was going to have to start a choir. And that was what Frank Kane told me at the end of the workshop, when I think I knew 8 Georgian songs. And I said, well, I want to join the Georgian choir in Seattle. And he said, well, pretty sure there isn't one, so I guess you're going to have to start one. And so then, who am I to start a Georgian choir when last week I didn't even know Georgia was a country? So just little by little, I started going to workshops, and I did go to a workshop with Frank Kane in Scotland the following year. I thought that would be a nice, easy baby step before I had never traveled abroad before. So I traveled to Scotland, went to a workshop with a familiar person with a familiar language, and learned, 10 more songs, brought them back, taught them to the group. And then the following year, I had stayed in touch with Carl, and I went on his Songmasters tour in 2010, and then again in 2011. And that, somewhere along there, Izumi and I were in a Georgian language class together, where we would meet in each other's living rooms, and share snacks and learn some basic vocabulary. And so that kind of started that journey. And I have really felt that paying attention to Georgian language and culture was a really important part of directing a group, especially when it's not my ancestry. So, and actually during the pandemic, that's kind of been my focus. So I've picked up language study again with the French Institute based in Tbilisi. My classmates are all over Europe, and then I'm the only one on the West Coast of the US. So we've got the same time spread that we had here in this meeting, but we're meeting once a week for Georgian language class, and that has been really wonderful. I'm gonna follow Andrea's example and just share very quickly a couple pictures of one of our most exciting events that we had. So this is us at Table Songs, the Table Songs Festival in Vancouver, British Columbia. And they had a really fantastic idea, which was to have a supra for 100 people and have Georgian inspired menu and have 4 different musical groups. And 145 was one of the main ones. And we got to be the headliners, I guess. We also did teach some singing workshops. We taught some dance workshops. And then, yes, well, I'll just kind of flip through these real quick. We have British folks from Canada singing pub songs. They're just delightful. That was also at that same festival. Then there was Hungarian singing and dancing. So it just was really wonderful to connect with other folk communities who love to sing from the table in the same way that we do. And here's our host Izumi with her papaki. Yeah, so and then we did teach some dance workshops, and we taught Izumi taught a doli workshop. And then we did put it all together with Panduri and doli and then some dance and some singing. So that just kind of gives you an idea about that. So we actually right before the pandemic, we were really enjoying our relationship with our Canadian neighbors. So we went to Canada 3 times over the course of a year. So we went to table songs in the fall, and then in summer we went to the Princeton Traditional Music Festival in Princeton, BC, and then later the next November, then we went back to table songs again. And so that's been a really nice relationship. The Canadians have welcomed us with open arms, and they seem to love us more than our hometown, which is pretty great. And then I just wanted to share one other quick thing. All right, so this is just us in our outfits singing at the Folklife Festival in Seattle. So I'll just stop there because I know we've been here a long time and there's a lot of other groups, but I will put some links in the chat and you can check them out later.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jen. I was singing along. Actually, I was singing along to other songs that I'm familiar with. I don't know if you've all been doing that too, or at least mouthing them. It's been kind of fun. I want to say a couple more things about 145 Jen, that Jen has also started an online, what is it, Zumi Sopeli choir that was all online during the pandemic, which I thought is pretty remarkable. And she has been to the symposium on her own or with other singers at least twice. So she's very deeply involved. Next, I would like to introduce the next group from Turkey, Samidah. And I want to say that that means 3 sisters, and they're the daughters of the musician singer Bayar Şahin. And I would like to invite Duygu.
Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Burcu, and I'm speaking on behalf of Samidah. First of all, we are very happy to meet you in here, and I will briefly inform you about them. Samidah, which means three sisters in Georgian, was founded in 2016 by sisters Yudum Şahin, Damla Şahin, and Tamara Şahin. And in 2019, the band presented their first album, Alaca, to the audience. And blending polyphonic music with their own style, Samidah actually grew up with music since their childhood, as they are the daughters of musician Bayar Şahin. They sang for their father on stage. His passion was also reflected in their education life. Twin sisters, Yudum and Damla, completed their conservatory education at Istanbul Technical University and currently pursuing their master's studies. Tamara also recently graduated from Istanbul University State Conservatory. Samidah brought their music together with its listeners mainly on digital platforms under pandemic conditions. In the next period, they aim to get together with their listeners at concerts as well. Now, I will show you the Rachuli work that Samidah shared on digital channels during the pandemic period. Thanks for listening. Enjoy it. I'm sharing now.
Thank you. Wow, that's fantastic. Again, to hear sound of instruments is wonderful with the voices.
Thanks for listening and watching.
I think we have a super group here, Samidah. How wonderful! And they have. You also have your own arrangements. Is that right? You have your own original music with your singing.
Yes, they also play some instruments on their own. So. They're capable of doing much.
Yeah, it's a wonderful. It goes into a creative direction, which is also really great with Georgian singing. Thank you again, Samidah. Next, we would like to invite Suneli and Nino's workshop choir. That's going to be introduced by Stephanie. They're from UK. Stephanie?
Hello, and thank you for inviting me. This has been very interesting. I'm going to do my Suneli speech first, I've been singing and in love with Georgian music. I've been singing it since the 1990s when Edisha Garakanidze came and did a workshop in Norwich. And I spent the next 20 years singing Georgian songs, being in love with Georgian music and wishing somebody, a little bit like Jen has been saying, wishing somebody would start a Georgian choir in Norwich. And I decided that that was going to have to be me. So for my 65th birthday, a couple of years ago, I gave myself a pop-up Georgian choir called Suneli, with a little bit of encouragement from Carl, who's not here to thank, but thank you, Carl. There were 40 of us. We practiced 10 songs in a very short and sharp rehearsal schedule. We put on a concert in Norwich with another group that I was also leading. I was teaching music from other traditions as well at that time. It went down rather well. So 22 of us carried on meeting regularly on Sunday morning. By last year, early on last year, we were well into preparations for putting on 2 concerts, one in Norfolk, one in Suffolk, in lovely venues. And of course, they never happened. And I tried to encourage people to come online. What our Suneli members wanted to do was to have the experience of singing shoulder to shoulder. And that was what I'd experienced way back with Edisha's workshop, shoulder to shoulder, being part of such wonderful chords when they get together and the whole room is buzzing and your head is buzzing and your body is buzzing. So there was not really any interest in going online. So I announced my retirement, probably a bit hasty, that one. But Suneli has come back, it won't go away, and nor will that Georgian music. We are now a family trio. I sing with my husband David, he's always sung with me anyway. He's hiding at the other end of the house at the moment. He's too nervous and too stressed out to come and sit next to me. For health reasons, we've been locked down for over a year. We've barely seen anybody in person. But my daughter Kate has joined us on Zoom. So she's the other member of the trio. She lives in France, although she's touring USA at the moment. So when we recorded this song, we spent much of the last week recording a song for you. We had the 2 of us, so Mother had to multi-track. This is also, I will fess up to you, this is my first outing on a chonguri. Part of my treat last year was to buy a chonguri. It was sent to me from Georgia, and I've been learning it. So this is a love song, Vagi Orkoma. And my husband David, who is down the other end of the room, the other end of the house, is doing the solo. So right now, share screen. Here we go. Sound.
Vagi orkoma, vamor tsokoma, ishen kugolu apuda skani chirima. Mapus Skani Chirima Skan Borekama Vaga Horekama Mujgiri Rekmaharia Skani Chirima Goa Piro Guli Shivardi Skani Chirima.
Oh dear. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. That wasn't us. So that's Suneli. I will be brief with Nino's Workshops choir. Monty has already mentioned Nino's workshops. They started in May 2020. They're still continuing. They are so brilliant. We go into such depth in the songs that she teaches us, not just the songs, but and there's folk religious chant and city songs. We learn about regional differences, styles of performance, ornamentation, nuances of language. I'm trying to learn Georgian as well. The cultural context. Sometimes we have visiting teacher, both the older, what Nino calls ethnophores, and young teachers. And these workshops grew out of people's desperate desire to sing together. And we were talking about it today after our session. It's still fulfilling a very, very great need, a lifesaver, says one of our other members. It's developed into a community, almost a family, as Monty said, like singing with your brothers and sisters, and literally the wish we would have wished for. Most of us have never met in person, and we've never sung together in person. And as somebody said this morning, it's intimate, but terribly distant. And I nearly said, but I didn't. I thought I might spoil the moment. But what I was thinking was, it's terribly distant, but it's intimate. And I'm so grateful because it's got me singing. I didn't sing for 6 months last year. So have I got time to play something? Another song?
Yes.
Yeah, right. This is a video we put together for the symposium. It wasn't actually played in the symposium concert, but this is the Laz language song Elemele Kismeti, led by Nino. And the people singing in it are from Australia, Canada, Hungary, Finland, Wales, and England, as well as Nino in Georgia. So, whew.
Sipotru jaka juga elemele kismeti dunya smutun varminyon oro paska nishmeti elemele kismeti sirechkimi kismeti mendrale mushenim juk oro padomimeti Mendrale mushenim juk oro padomimeti
Ganito ishkumuchi
Guis kodolo mabchu oro pamon kateren Borjghali kolo mabchu Elemele kismeti sirechkimi kismeti Mendrale mushenim juk oro padomimeti Mendrale mushenim juk oro padomimeti
Chaka chuka mendeli
Rakani shen mivali Ancha varho mokukna Megontina pchumani Ele kismeti, sirečki mi kismeti, mendrale mušeninču, poropado mi meti, mendrale mušeninču, poropado mi meti.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank goodness for technology. What if we didn't have all this to do these things? You know, we're distant, but we can still be intimate. I'm really grateful for that. I also am involved in dance. We have the same issue. You want to be dancing with your friends, but you can't. So we've used Zoom in the same way. And it's worked. It's not perfect, but it's worked. And some of my friends said, I can't do it. I need to have some people around me, so I'm not going to do it. But others were like, well, I'm so passionate about it. I don't want to give it up. So
sorry about that. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. Thank you very much for sharing about Sunili and Nino's workshop choirs. We have one more group left. Slavia Women's Vocal Ensemble from Washington, D.C., and my good friend Betsy Platt will present. You are a trooper. You all are a trooper for remaining this long. It's been, what, 3 hours? Almost, no, is that right? More than 2.5 hours. So thank you for your patience. And Betsy, welcome. Oh, you're muted. Betsy.
Hi.
There you go. Welcome.
Thank you so much for organizing this to Iberia and Izumi. I've been very fortunate to meet both of you in real life. And it's great to know you, and thank you for organizing this. I'm here representing Slavia Women's Choir. We've been around for more than 30 years, not all of us, but many of us. And we began primarily with a Balkan repertoire around a core of alumni from the Yale Slavic Chorus. He is one of them, and you know, there are others here that may still be here, who knows. Okay, and so over the last 10 years, we've moved much more in the direction of Georgian repertoire. We're probably singing more than half of our songs, Georgian songs now. Some of us also sing in Nyavi, and I've been really enjoyed also singing with Zumi Sopali over the over the pandemic time, and also with Nino's workshops. So that's been a real joy. We've also, several of us have been to Georgia. I was also on that epic 2010 tour of Carl Linux in Tel Aviv, so that was great. And some of the other, the great teachers we've been fortunate to study with have been, of course, Carl, Frank Kane, Aurelia Schrenker, Nanam Javanadze, Bianchi Scatti Trio with Malchaz, Erkvanidze, Zedashe, Sakioba, and Adile, and you know, others too online since then. We've performed at many festivals and concerts and weddings and at the Georgian Embassy here in Washington. And I'm going to leave it there because this has gone very long. And I will paste the, I'll paste our video in the chat. It's the one that one of the ones we prepared for, hold on a second, let me just share this. Share it. Copy it. Okay, so hopefully this will work. For this important thing of the pandemic time. All right, let's see if this works. Paste. There we go. Okay, so there's our video. We did a short video of a healing song, and so I hope you enjoy it. I know I'm going to enjoy listening to all of the songs after this. So thanks for pulling this together again. It was so wonderful to meet all these new choirs and to see a lot of old friends. Thanks to everyone for hanging in there till the end.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Betsy, for wrapping up our second session and the end of the whole whole meeting, essentially. We are not quite done. We have a question and answer portion, and I wanted to mention that we will be sharing the links that have been posted in the chat with all the participants. So we will get those to you. Take them from the chat. So we were wondering if you have any questions, perhaps you can leave them in the chat, and then in the order that we receive them, they can be answered by either us or whoever wants to answer them. We'll try to keep some sort of order. And also, I noticed during the break, friends were catching up, and I thought that was wonderful. I'm not sure if we have time for that or if you have the patience for that, but I thought maybe we ought to give that something like 10 minutes to happen, because this is a gathering. It's like we're back in the village kind of situation, and if you're able to hang on a little bit longer, it might be worthwhile to do. But it depends on you. So I think with that we can maybe İberya has a few words. Yes, if you'd like to say a few words. İberya hocam bir şeyler sunmak isterseniz buyurun.
Tamam, ben çok iyi İngilizce bilmediğim için Türkçe söyleyeyim ve cümle yapayım, aktarayım. Belki söylemiş olabilirsin. Onları da anlamadığım için söylemem gerekenleri söyleyeyim diye düşünüyorum.
Tamam.
Birincisi, baştan aşağı 2 bölüm halinde videoya çektik. Bunu bütün gruplara mail ile linki vesaire göndereceğiz. Bu şu anda katılmayan tüm gruplara bu videoyu göndereceğiz.
Tamam. İberya says that the session has been recorded in 2 sections, the first part and the second part, and all the viewers will receive emails for the link.
Şöyle de bir problem var. Burada şimdi rüzgar gibi bütün grupları gördük, ettik falan. Dikkatler dağılabilir falan. Daha ayrıntılı bir şekilde tanımak için, birbirimizi tanımak için bu video önemli bir arşiv oldu hepimiz için.
So we all didn't have enough time. 5 minutes is not a very long time, so we had to kind of go through one group and on to the next. It's been kind of a rush in a way. So watching this video you'll have a chance to revisit some of the groups and get to know them a little bit better.
Bundan sonra söyleyeceğim konu, bu videonun sosyal medyada da başka arenalarda paylaşılması konusunda bütün gruplardan izin isteyeceğiz. Yani gruplar, topluluklardan olacak maille bu videonun paylaşmasında izin veriyorsanız diyeceğiz. Eğer uygun görmeyen gruplar varsa, olmazsa o videonun o kısmını çıkartıp sadece uygun görenleri de yapabiliriz. Ama temennim sosyal medyada da başka arenalarda bu videonun da kamuoyuna, dünya kamuoyuna sunulması. Bu anlamda izin almadan sunmak istemiyoruz.
The third point is, again, regarding the video. We'd like permission to share this with the wider world on social media and other outlets. If you have any objection, please let us know. I think what we'll do is we'll email you all again, because I know some groups had to leave earlier, so they're not here to hear this. But we'd like to share this with the wider world, and we hope you're okay. If you have any objections, we will remove your portion out.
Bütün bunları bir konu daha var. Bütün bunları mesela bundan sonra bu gruplar bir araya geldi ama gelemeyen arkadaşlar da var. Güne uymayan, saate uymayan arkadaşlar da var. Topluluklar da var. Hepsinin mail adresleri ve irtibatları var elimizde. Bu tamamına göndereceğimiz maille, toplu maille bundan sonra nasıl iletişimi, birlikteliği sürdürelim, mail grubuyla birbirimizi yazalım mı diye soru sormak istiyoruz. Yani bundan sonra yani şu ana kadar bütün grupları tespit etmeye çalıştık. Önemli bölümü bu akşam hep beraber olabildik. Ama bundan sonra nasıl ilişkileri sürdürelim? Bir grup diğeriyle, diğer grup soru cevaптır vesaire, birbirlerine malzeme alışverişi vesaire şeklinde mail grubumuz var. Bu şekilde sürdürmeyi düşünüyoruz. Mail grubumuzla iletişimi sürdürmeyi düşünüyoruz.
So for those who could not be here tonight due to conflicts, time, and so forth, we will also share this meeting because they initially expressed interest. But the key thing after this is how do we keep this going? Well, how should we do this? We do have this, gathering of emails from each of you. We can use that, but perhaps there are other ways to keep, plan for future meetings, plan for collaborations, or helping each other, that sort of thing. How do we move forward? We should keep this going.
Tabii bunu yaparken de bütün gruplara şunu da soracağız. Böyle bir mail grubunda bulunmak istemeyenler varsa tabii ki bulunmayabilir. Yani bulunmak isteyenler ve de bu iletişimi sürdürmek isteyenler, uygun görenlerle bir grup oluşturup bunlarla iletişimi sürdürmeye çalışacağız. Yani orada da izin alacağız.
Of course, this is in regards to all the groups who would like to participate. Perhaps there are a few that don't want to be involved, or perhaps you all do. That would be wonderful. We could use the mail group as a start, or form some kind of forum to continue our dialogue, discourse, collaboration, research, all those things to stay connected.
Benim genel olarak söylemek istediğim bilgilendirme bu. Özellikle başta İzumi'ye çok teşekkür ediyorum. Bu organizasyonda bulunan tüm arkadaşlara, dostlara çok teşekkür etmek istiyorum. Ama özellikle gecenin, mesela Avustralya'sında gecenin bilmem kaçı, buna rağmen birlikte gelip burada toplantıda saatlerce hepimiz birbirimizi izledik. Katılımcı tüm dostlara da çok teşekkür etmek istiyorum. Katılamayan arkadaşlara da inşallah en kısa zamanda bir araya gelmiş oluruz diye düşünüyorum.
I received a bunch of thanks now for helping organize this meeting and moderating. I also thank Iberia and his organization for trusting me to do this. I felt like a part of the team. Like I felt almost like I was in Istanbul. He also thanks his colleagues supporting this endeavor to get us all together, technical and otherwise. And also everyone who's been here, the time zones, it's an issue, right? Especially those who are in Australia. I guess they're not here anymore at this moment, but thank you for making this work. Thank you for setting aside time for this. It's been many hours. I mean, it's been more than 2 hours. And yes, just thank you very much for being here and making this happen and making it successful.
Benim diyeceklerim bu kadar. Farklı fikirler olan arkadaşlar tabii ki konuşabilirler. Ama bu konuşmaların yazıya dökülmesi, soruların, cevapların yazıya dökülmesi, bundan sonra ne yapılabilir, nasıl birbirlerimize destek olabiliriz, nasıl iletişimler sürdürebiliriz konusunda mail grubuyla sürdürmekten yanayım. Hem vakit çok ilerlediği için hem de bazı dostlarımız tabii ki geç saatler olduğu için aramızdan ayrıldılar, çıktılar. Ve daha grubumuza da katılmayan arkadaşlar var. Eğer mail grubu konusunda hemfikirsek bundan sonra görüşler, düşünceler neler yapılabilir, birlikte bir şey mi yapılabilir ya da bir grubun organize ettiği bir festival vardır, onun duyurusu mu yapılabilir ya da birbirlerimize malzemeler, şarkılar aktarma mı olur? Neyse, ne yapılabilirse bu grupla sürdürmekten yanayım diye önerim bu.
So we have a mail group formed. We can use this for further communication, announcements for festivals or future collaboration ideas. We can keep in contact. If that is all right with you, we will use the mail group that we have to continue. And you can also express your questions or other comments, suggestions, that sort of thing as well. I guess by mail at this point, using the mail group. I think that's all from Iberia. Soru cevapları yapmıyoruz yani, öyle mi?
Hayır, yani yapabiliriz ama hani bunları
öyle mi? Tamam.
Bir grup olarak sürdürürsek daha kalıcı olur diye düşünüyorum. Ben her şey için çok teşekkür ediyorum. toplantıyı kapatalım demiyorum tabii ki. Devam edebiliriz. İsteyen
Anladım.
arkadaşlar konuşabilirler.
Yes, so we'll continue communication via email, the things that we've mentioned. But here we can have a question and answer session as well while we're here. You can use the chat section to ask something, and maybe someone will be able to answer. So we'll have an example of that live. And I'm going to adjust my screen so I can see the chat better. Yes, and thank you once again for being here and making this a huge success. It's been wonderful. Any comments? Suggestions?
Hey, Zumi, it's Mati. Asha,
Hi, Mati.
can you hear us okay?
Yes, yes.
I think
Hi.
our friends Ashlyn and Miranda wanted to speak to a particular point that they mentioned earlier in the chat, and I just wanted to highlight that.
Okay. Ashley and Miranda. So let me find it.
Maspindzeli.
Yeah. Hello.
Oh, hi. Yes, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, it's just that the pandemic has created something called Voices of the Ancestors, which is a podcast from Holly Taylor and Susan Thompson of Maspindzeli. And if anybody wants to follow it up, if they just follow up Voices of the Ancestors.
Voices of the Ancestors.
They've done about 6 podcasts where they interview somebody who's been singing Georgian songs, quite a few Georgians as well.
Anzor Pere.
Anzor Pere, who you all know, and Nana
Javanadze.
Ah, wonderful.
So if you want to sort of find out what another angle, they're great fun.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. And thanks, Jen, for posting that in the chat. You can find the link in the chat for the podcasts.
One of the is with Jen Morris.
Oh,
Morris,
Jen Morris is part of it. Okay.
Yeah,
podcast.
Yeah, they interviewed me as their guinea pig, so I'm the very first episode, but like the sound quality's not great, and the question, like they were kind of figuring out their interviewing style and all of that. So my recommendation would be skip the first episode and then go through until you hear some of the Georgian women telling their stories about their families and the history behind the music, and then also our friends in the UK who are also sharing theirs. And it's women, it's the women who sing Georgian music. That's basically their idea, and they've done a really fantastic job. So you can check it out on all the places where podcasts are available, but go to their website and you can find it.
I'll definitely check it out. Thanks for making it a success. I mean, it's thanks to you, Jen.
First one with Jen Morris.
Very good.
Hey, Izumi.
The inaugural session.
Kesh and I also just wanted to say thank you to everyone. I know a lot of people have left. It's unbelievable that, this time 14 months ago, we saw all our choirs starting to sort of splinter off and people were unable to connect. And yet we have a meeting like this and have more connection than we've ever experienced. And I never would have imagined I would be on a Zoom today with all of the friends from Turkey talking about Georgian music. It's just extraordinary, let alone everyone else all over the world. So thank you so much. A wonderful idea.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you to Iberia for he's the, what do you call it? It was his idea, and he wanted to dedicate something to Anzor Erkomaishvili's memory. And Carl's words really struck me. He's out there and he's happy we're doing this. So it's wonderful. Again, it's a reunion. For many of you already know each other from the symposium concert, for example. But It's been a pleasure for me to, moderate and find out so much, so much more about Georgian music and culture. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you were part of it. You made it, you all made it. You made it successful.
Yes.
Any other comments you'd like to share? Anything that struck you or inspired you? Any issues, problems, criticisms?
No, just thanks again for hosting. It's been so inspiring.
Wonderful, thank you.
And hear everybody's stories, and I hope we can do more of it as we go forward.
I think that's the goal, yes. We just have to find a way to keep the momentum going. Anyone else?
Izumi, I have a habit of talking too much, so I'm going to try to say this in like less than 10 words. I feel like there's an incredible opportunity here for some kind of social action without getting all sort of fluffy and political. And I think a number of us are hoping something comes out of this that, allows us to engage in some kind of meaningful collaboration across these different cultures and countries. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yes, absolutely. That is one of the goals, to become a bridge between each other, to help each other, and, keep this alive. Pass it down. Keep it going. Thank you for the insight. Yes. And hopefully in person someday, someday soon. And now you have even more friends. You have a friend in Slovenia, for example, or Austria. Turkey, we were introduced to 5 groups from Turkey, which is fantastic.
Very good.
Başka söylemek istedikleriniz var mı? Türkiye'den arkadaşlar.
I would like to add something.
Yes, please.
Hello, everyone. I sing for Georgian Art House Chamber Choir, and Gamze represented us perfectly, so I won't add anything, but I would like to conserve the great Georgian tradition before leaving, if nobody is adding something. So, Gaumar.
Gamarjos.
Yes.
Gamarjos.
Yeah, I just do this all the time before the leaving. Like I do it all the time. So my friends, they really know this very well.
Gel söyle Mehmet.
Genel söyle.
Didim Atlaba. Teşekkürler. Anyone else would like to add anything? Yes.
I just want to ask Mehmet, are you the one with the gallery? The gallery? Do you have a gallery? No. What? Someone with your same name. Okay. Ah, wow. No, it's not me. Okay.
İberay Hocam, bir şeyler katmak ister misiniz? Galiba kapanışa yaklaşıyoruz. Ay, duyamıyorum sizi. Mute.
Yok. Yani bence o şeyi yapalım. Hani mail gruplarıyla hani videoyu paylaşmaya izin, artı videoları göndeririz. Artı maillerin de birbirleriyle yazışmalarına da izin sağladıktan sonra o grupta yazışmalarda herkes birbirlerine karşı sorularını sorarlar, önerileri getirirler falan. Bu şekilde ilişkiler sürer. Buraya katılmayan arkadaşlar da girmiş olur. Ama daha kalıcı, yazılı bir şey olmuş olur. Belki oradan Google Drive'a geçirilir, bilmem ne. İhtiyaç varsa o şekilde geliştirilir. Bence çok teşekkür edelim. Başta sen olmak üzere.
Rica ederim. Ben teşekkür ederim.
3,5 saattir de beraberiz. Artık
evet.
Dağılıyor.
Epey sürdü.
Katılımcılara çok teşekkür ediyorum. Bir de şey olarak da çok gururlandım. Yani dünyada bir müzik türü var ki geleneksel çok sesli müzik, Gürcü müziği bu kadar Gürcü olan insanlar tarafından dünyanın dört bir tarafında seslendiren, seven ve de bunu sürdüren insanların oluşu bir Gürcü olarak da çok gurur duydum. Eminim Gürcistan da çok şeydir. Onun için Mehmet'in de söylediği gibi buradan herkese bir, Gürcü sanat evi herkesin evidir. Herkesin rahatlıkla kullanabileceği bir merkezdir. Onun için davet ediyoruz. İki, ellerimizde kadeh yok. Gürcü şarabı ama gavumar coş diyoruz herkese. Didi mandalo diyoruz.
Gaumarjos. I think these are the last comments now from Iberia. He, of course, thanks again all of you for joining. And we have the email group that we can communicate with. Another thing he mentioned, that he felt a lot of pride that all of us are so engaged in Georgian music, song, culture. He's really, really impressed. We are not Georgians, yet here we are, we're doing this. And we're doing it together, you know, in a sense, globally. And he also invites all of you to, in regards to Georgian Art House, his organization, he would like to offer this as a center for such things, for all of you, you know, to utilize, I guess, consider it a resource for furthering Georgian culture, especially what we do. With what we do, we sing and we play music and we dance. So he's looking forward to more things from this group, this special group, and we will be in touch. Yes. And I think with that, thank you to everyone who attended. Thank you for the organizers and all your comments and all your stories. And we'll see you hopefully next time very soon. One thing I want to add something. Please share resources. How can we do this? I know there's Google groups, there's Facebook groups. I personally do not like WhatsApp, I have to say. I cannot stand WhatsApp, but you know, it was part of my life for a little while. There's also Slack. I know some things work really well for this kind of thing. So if you have any insights as to what that might be, please share, and we can be more effective, I think. Communication will be more smooth. So yeah, it's a great start. Thank you. Thank you all, everybody. Thanks for staying, and stay healthy, be well, sing. Keep singing.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Görüşürüz. Hoşçakalın.
Goodbye.
Sorry, Didi Madaba.
Gaumarjos. Nahwandis.
Nahwandis, gavumar coş.